What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and it's Top 10 Thursday. Over the course of the last 3 years, the PlayStation 4 sold nearly 55 million units. The secret to that overwhelming success is that essentially anyone can put out a game for it. This has led to a lot of good, but also some stuff that is really bad. Because of that, this week I want to try and dig to the bottom of the trash heap and count down my picks of the top 10 worst PS4 games ever. Number 10. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. Easily one of the most beloved sports titles of all time is the Tony Hawk series. These projects were all about fast action, high scores, and really nasty crashes. As the years went on though, the developer was clearly getting bored of their own games because they started to look very lazy. Suddenly the franchise just kinda disappeared and we didn't get another sequel until 2015. Despite all the hype surrounding this long-awaited comeback, Pro Skater 5 turned out to be a total dumpster fire. The physics were extremely floaty, levels are tiny, and there were glitches everywhere. When I was trying to review this, I actually had my save file delete itself because it was simply too broken to even work. Number 9. Daylight. Imagine waking up in a dark hallway that appears to be part of some sort of mental hospital or maybe a creepy laboratory. Searching around the floor, you discover a cell phone that has a map on it. A mysterious voice commands you to pick it up and start walking. With this short introduction, we're dropped into the world of Daylight, a procedurally generated survival horror experience. The idea behind this game is that every time you turn it on, it'll be a totally different adventure since everything is randomly formed each playthrough. Unfortunately, what this really meant is that we're basically just exploring the same 5 paths over and over again. After a while, the only fear you'll feel is that you'll be forced to endure another minute of this boring, jump scare-filled torture. Number 8. The Order 1886. Sometimes the best part of a game is just getting lost in it, being able to make our own custom journey in the depths of a place built just for us. It was this sense of wonder that was promised by the designers of The Order 1886. Our story is set during an age of dangerous ancient war between werewolves and the humans wielding the technology needed to stop them. Using steampunk-style guns and advanced weaponry, hopes were high that this could be a truly epic PS4 exclusive. Shockingly, the final product was little more than an interactive movie. A majority of this 5-hour-long campaign is spent listening to old men explain why this battle is so important instead of just letting us do some fighting. Even when we do go out in the field, we're really only shooting at other humans. I honestly think this entire project was shoved together in a hurry because it just seems like such rushed trash. Number 7. Dino Dini's Kickoff Revival. Oh man, I almost don't know what to say about this one. Apparently, long ago there was a popular soccer series called Kickoff that aimed to capture the raw speed and intensity of the game. To be honest, I'm not a huge sports guy so I never played it, but I did unfortunately test this horrible mess out. There's something just a little bit wrong about every aspect of Dino Dini's Revival. Hitting the ball sends it flying way too far, teammates run like they just snorted 5 lines of cocaine and drank a Red Bull, and the crowd cheers like 8-bit robots. If they had just put in even the tiniest bit of effort, this indie title could have probably sold pretty decently. The fact is that anything soccer related usually does rather well, but this primitive pile of poor programming deserves to be completely ignored. Number 6. My Name Is Mayo. There's a certain group of gamers who aim to get every trophy in whatever they play. Among these people, there's bragging rights for those who can collect the most platinum trophies, which are obtained by mastering all the challenges put in a game by the developers. These are normally incredibly hard, and unlocking them is truly a badge of honor. That is unless you're playing My Name Is Mayo, where literally all you do is tap a large jar of mayonnaise. Sometimes you slap on different outfits like this sexy bikini, but other than that, you really just hammer X and it gives you achievements. I personally think the designers of this should be ashamed because clearly the only reason they made this was to try and trick honest members of the trophy collecting community into paying for another platinum. It's essentially not even a freaking game. Number 5. Godzilla. The king of all monsters rose from the sea to utterly destroy Japan in the 1950s and has since gone on to become a cultural icon. Even though his films have been massive hits over the decades, good Godzilla games are few and far between. For this project, the plan was to finally create a title that shows the raw explosive power of this nuclear killing machine. The problem is that for some reason they made the gameplay so slow. What you're looking at here is really the maximum speed. The goal of each level is to fight your way across the city, defeating rival mutant creatures and knocking over the local reactor. In theory, that could be super awesome, but it unfortunately didn't turn out quite right. Every mission, no matter how simple, can take 30 minutes to accomplish, and nearly that entire time is just spent watching this lumbering beast walking at half a mile an hour. Number 4. Life of Black Tiger. I gotta be brutally straightforward with this entry. Obviously what we have here is a very broken cell phone game that some greedy jerk tried to shove on the PlayStation marketplace. For this, we're being transformed into one of the last remaining black tigers living in a small tribe up north. In an attempt to ensure the survival of your species, you must hunt the greatest threat to your family, mankind. Hearing that plot, you might think that there's some real, genuine story here, but sadly, you'd be dead wrong. If I had to describe the gameplay of this tragedy, I'd say it's an open-world adventure, and yet I use all those terms very loosely. It's like someone tried to build a basic test game for the Nintendo 64 and randomly figured, why bother doing more work? I'll just sell this. With its hilariously bad graphics, controls that hardly function, and cutscenes that are just weird slideshows, I'm amazed that Sony even allowed this garbage to exist. Number 3. Planet 2000. Perhaps one of the most difficult aspects of game design is teaching us how to play your project. Explaining what the buttons are and where we'll be battling takes a very subtle touch, because you want the person picking your title up for the first time to immediately feel like they're involved in the world. I can only assume that the maker of Planet 2000 missed that class in school though. As soon as you press start, the opening movie is just random, terrified looking women yelling about power-ups and how to defeat opponents in this arena. Alright, it's not really fair to judge something just due to how creepy its intro is. Let's see how it plays. Oh no, what we actually have here is a super bad Twisted Metal style car combat game. Every second I try this fills me with so many questions. Shouldn't my vehicle steer better than this? Why are the maps so empty? Maybe I'm having a crazy fever dream because none of this is making any sense. Number 2. Umbrella Corps. The Resident Evil series is undoubtedly the godfather of survival horror. This franchise has amassed a huge fan base with its wacky plot lines, bloody zombies, and Capcom's ability to keep changing up the gameplay mechanics while sticking to its roots. When they released the 2012 game Operation Raccoon City though, they faced some serious backlash for how unfinished it was. After that, fans assumed that the company had learned its lesson until they debuted an even worse sequel. Umbrella Corps is a squad-based shooter that seemingly had zero beta testing done with it because everything is so strangely screwed up. The undead just ignore players, objectives will sometimes break and not give you points, and most flawed of all, the way we move around is just weird. Sprinting is way too quick, and oddly, you can technically run even while laying down. That means you can fly around the area at lightning speed looking like Spider-Man. I hope whoever made this got fired because they shouldn't be allowed anywhere near another Resident Evil. Number 1. Skylight Freerange 2 Gachduine. This is an actual project that a team of people dedicated time to, and something about that totally baffles me. Let's just take a moment to really soak in how bad this is graphically, and then consider that it has awful gameplay to match it. The overall plot has something to do with an evil cult that's trying to take over Canada, but it's all explained in such a haphazard fashion that I really don't understand what's going on. When you're finished with the agonizingly long tutorial, we're set free in an open land that unfortunately doesn't have much to do. While we are able to wander around online and talk to other players and even get into battles, there's a distinct lack of polish. Something about this just doesn't feel right. Without an overarching goal or a main mission, everything just feels so hollow. During my research for this script, I read that Skylight Freerange failed to be put on Steam. Let that sink in. This is a platform that really allows absolutely everything. I think it's safe to say that this project overall is an absolute catastrophe. For its broken gameplay, total lack of fun, and utterly insane story, I am awarding this my pick as the worst PlayStation 4 game ever. Did your least favorite game not make the list? Got an idea for a future top 10? Leave it in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. This video is actually part of a trilogy that I'm about to do. This is the first one, all about PlayStation 4. Next week, I'm going to be counting down the worst Xbox One games, and we're going to end it with the absolute most dumpster fire Wii U games. It is going to be a ton of fun. So if you're watching this in the future, check the description box. You'll see links to those. And if you're watching this now, well, tell me what games you hate the absolute most for each console in the comments. I really want to see them. Man, it's going to be bad. I'm like really excited to make those. So hopefully I see you there. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked this video, maybe check out my last video. Please subscribe, and if you want, share this somewhere with your friends.